What's going on, everyone? So the Charlotte Hornets, a lot of conflicting reports and LaMelo putting things to bed. So reports came out that LaMelo Ball is expected to be shopped by Charlotte and that LaMelo is open and kind of wants out. He was benched the previous game and it's just disaster, right? However, LaMelo has came out and debunked that since. LaMelo has came out and said that it's not true. And you're now hearing reports that, he's may not end up being on the trade block, may not be on the trade market. Now, how much of that is just him, doing the right thing? Hey, I mean, how often do we see players and even organizations say, no, that guy, he's our guy, right? And then they end up being traded, right? A big kind of reason though, right, is what is his return? What is his value? There's no doubt he's an incredible talent. He's blockbuster. He is fun to watch. But one, there's a lot of questions of, can you win with the way that he plays? Which is a genuine question. And two, the guy's only played 55% of the games that he could play. The guy is, one of the, look, the Ball brothers are hoopers, without a doubt. But those guys, man, they're made of glass. Those guys cannot stay healthy. And, LaMelo Ball is an incredible talent, but it's just, you're going to go and you're going to sell the farm to go get LaMelo and hoping that maybe you can do better. Now, there's always that team. There's always that organization that could, but is he getting some insane blockbuster return? Probably not. So if you're Charlotte, I think Charlotte will kind of low-key shop him around, right? They may already have and may not get the return or may not be getting the value and stuff that they are, hoping to get for him, right? Because again, what contending team is we need Melo, right? Even a team like Minnesota who could really use a point guard. Is Melo the kind of point guard that you'd want? Probably not, right? It'd be fun. Him and Anthony Edwards would be a lot of fun, but you need more of a real playmaking, hard-nosed, 3-and-D style point guard, right? Think of a prime Marcus Smart would be perfect there. A guy that can initiate, get you into your action, and then just defend, a prime. If Mike Conley could turn back the clock to the grit and grind Grizzly days, right? Now you have your guy. So I don't really see a contending team. Now, there are teams that would absolutely take him. I'm not saying that teams wouldn't trade for him, he's basically stuck in Charlotte, but it's probably teams that are taking a flyer or bad teams that just want the revenue that he'd bring in, because he'd bring in some real revenue, right? I think of teams like New Orleans, I think would be fun. If you're New Orleans, it's dude, Zion and LaMelo Ball, neither guy could play more than 20 games, but in those 20 games, you're going to be fun, you're going to be dynamic, you're going to be explosive, and if those two can figure it out and stay healthy, you might actually be a really good basketball team, right? It's just something like that. Or, Sacramento, who's just dude, we really need to hit the reset button. Let's just get a young star to bring in, right? And it's hey, here's our young guy that we can kind of build around. Maybe a team like the Clippers that, really need to kind of tear it down. It's hey, let's just go, we're terrible. We need to kind of hit the reset button here. Let's go get a LaMelo Ball and, there you go, right? Those are the kind of teams that I look at. The bad teams that are hey, we either need a franchise guy to hit the reset button or, man, this would be really fun, right? It's kind of where I'm at with that. And so, to me, if you're Charlotte, in all honesty, you're probably in your best interest to get off of them. Every year you're playing for a lottery pick, and a lot of that is because, LaMelo can't stay healthy. And again, it's just, it's hard because of the style in which he plays. It's can you have the success? You need a very specific team alongside Melo. He has the highest usage in the league. Dude, he has a higher usage than guys like Luka and stuff, which have insane high usage, right? Talk about historically high usage rate. So you basically need LaMelo with a bunch of athletic 3-and-D wings and then a really good kind of versatile center that can, just he can generate offense and score the basketball at will. And you have the defense and versatility around him, right? Something like that. Houston if Houston just wanted to be a lot of fun, right? Like, that's kind of where I feel with LaMelo. Again, he's an incredible talent, but I almost like, if you're Charlotte, it's almost in your best interest to move off of him. It's almost in your best interest to go and trade him and then get whatever you can in return, because you do have some really nice pieces. Like Cockbrenner's looking like he might actually be a legit center in this league. Knaple's looking great. You have guys on this roster, Brandon Miller, I think, can continue to be great. Like, you have guys on this roster that have a lot of promise that could be real kind of pieces and real, like, you might be able to carve out a very good basketball team over the next few years if you approach this correctly. But I feel in a lot of ways they're kind of handcuffed to LaMelo, and you're not going to get the return that you want for him. But then also it's like, from a Charlotte side of things, it's like, do you trade him for pennies on the dollar, just to kind of hit the reason? But sometimes you just have to cut your losses, right? It sucks, but you do, right? Like, it's just, I feel like that with the Pelicans with Zion. It's like they're just spinning their wheels with Zion. It's like, dude, like, yeah, Zion, when he's healthy, is one of the best talents in all of basketball. Like, that guy should be in top 10 or top 5 conversations every year, but the guy just can't stay healthy, right? But it's just like, how long are you going to keep playing that, like, staying on that hamster wheel? How long are you going to keep doing that before it's like, all right, we need to let that be somebody else's problem? Even if they figure it out, like, let's say LaMelo does go to Sacramento and he becomes that guy and he stays healthy and he's all this stuff, right? Like, again, like, it's a tough spot, right? It's probably not the great example, because Luka is ridiculous, right? Like, Luka and Melo are in different stratospheres, but like, it's kind of like Dallas's logic, right? It's hey, Luka is probably never going to be what we need him to be, because he's too comfortable almost, right? Like, it's different circumstances, but I do think like it does have some parallels, right? Like, Dallas traded Luka because they didn't think that he would get in the shape and work on what he needed to work on, right? And if Luka stayed in Dallas, there's a very real chance that that's true, right? But I even said this when they traded Luka to the Lakers. The moment that they traded him to the Lakers, they guaranteed that they were going to be wrong, because Luka was going to get motivated. You might have something similar, right? Like, if the Pelicans trade Zion or Charlotte trades LaMelo, you might get something where if you would have kept him, right, then it would have been, right, you would have been screwed either way, right? And yes, in hindsight, you look back and it's like, that you shouldn't have done that. But again, it never would have been that way. The difference with the Luka situation, Luka was so good, and it wasn't like LaMelo can't play more than like 20 games. Like, Luka didn't have necessarily that. Obviously, he had injury issues, but his was just like, Dallas didn't really put the efforts in. Like, I don't think that's a problem with like a LaMelo or a Zion. I just think the guy can't stay healthy, right? Like, so they're different circumstances, right? Where Dallas made the mistake of, rather trying to correct it and putting the resources into it, they just kind of jumped the gun, right? Like, Charlotte, I think, is in their best interest to trade LaMelo if they can. I think that they should jump the gun on this. And if it works out, in another situation, you just kind of go like, hey, it's part of life, right? But there's also that fear where it's like, if it does, do I lose my job or whatever? Like, it's a tough spot to be in. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. It's me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.